All right, everybody, welcome back to What I Wish You Knew About Your Wedding. I am very excited. Another special guest. We have Brianna from Shyheart Studios. Very excited. Tons of experience. Probably, I don't know, a bazillion, a bazillion weddings shot. Probably maternity shoot. She did my wife's maternity shoot, actually. Yes, and got in a little bit of trouble for that, but that was fun. Family photos, engagement photos, branding, a ton of stuff. But here's what I want to do. We're going to be talking about wedding photography, photo trends with media and in regards to social media, content creation, all of that. But I'm going to let her talk to you guys just for a little bit. How are you doing?
Wonderful. Thanks so much for having me.
I'm so excited. We're going to talk about like so many really just like trending, important topics that I personally see not only on my own social media, but in forums, on Reddit, on Facebook. There's all these things that I think are just getting a little out of hand, misunderstood, and like overcomplicated, right?
Yeah.
Before we do that, I would love for you to introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about experience, background, any exciting news, anything, you've been on TV. So anything you want to talk about, let's hear about it.
Great. Well, like you said, my name is Brianna. I am the founder and creator of Shyheart Studios, which is a wedding and portrait photography business in Orange County, California. We have been in business 10 years this year, which is very exciting.
Yes.
I started my career back about 15 years ago, truth be told, which makes me feel very old. I used to laugh about thinking about one day I'll be able to say I've been around for 10, 15 years. It's a little too real. It's a little too real. But my business has been around for a long time. We started out as wedding photographers primarily and exclusively, actually. And after the pandemic, we pivoted a little bit and started expanding into full service family portrait photography. I then also added the element of personal brand photography, which I have loved. I'm kind of a innovative photographer, if I can say that.
Sure.
I'm constantly thinking of what the next thing is that can move us to that next level. And I've been hit with a handful of challenges in my career that have really pushed me into that. But in the last couple of years specifically, we have grown tremendously. We have been featured everywhere from KTLA 5 all the way to a billboard in Times Square in New York, which was very exciting. And now, actually, literally just yesterday, I got the keys to our brand new studio.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that we will be renovating to have a natural light studio and start being able to offer even more photography options. So I'm kind of all over the place.
Yeah, that's really cool. No, congratulations on, of course, all the accomplishments, which I have followed for a long time. It's amazing to see everything you do. And then also not too long ago, you had a gala.
Yes. Yeah. I hosted my very first gala. I kicked off a project this year called Stories of Motherhood. It's funny. As I talk about it for next year's gala, I keep referring to it as having been last year, but it was really just about 4 months ago that we did this. I kicked it off in January and we hosted a gala that benefited the work of Girls Inc., where mothers were featured alongside their motherhood journey story. It was published. That's where KTLA came in and they featured us, which was super exciting. And we've already kicked off that project for 2026 and are actively photographing mothers and learning their stories right now for next year's gala.
That's incredible. So let's talk about content creation. This is another big reason why I wanted to have you on is, when all this was happening, content creation, and it's, there's a lot on the internet about
whole industry.
There's a lot on the internet about people saying this, saying that. I have very strong opinions that I've met arguments with. And here's the thing. Again, we talked earlier, right in the beginning about it. The trend is spending less.
Right.
How do I save money? Now, professional videography is extremely expensive.
Mm-hmm.
It costs a lot, but they have a lot of work to do. They have to take all the video. They're doing 3 camera shots. They got to piece that together, post work, and then the creative process of making this compelling video. Like it is they deserve what they get paid. Absolutely. There's no question about that for me. I've seen some amazing highlight edits. They're just so emotional, like from weddings that I've done, and I'm like, wow, like they really captured that like wedding. Like they really got it, nailed it. And to me, if I was paying for that, I'd be so happy. Like it is worth the money, but the problem is people don't necessarily have that money anymore. And so to me, content creation, content creators coming and capturing the moments, being like the fly on the wall, the person who's not attending but is just capturing so many moments, so many things that you wouldn't catch. Or also there's a lot of things they catch when the bride and groom is stepped away. Like they're still capturing stuff that the couple can watch later. And here's the thing, it's very different because videography is focused on the big moments and stuff like that, whereas content creators are grabbing everything. They're like grabbing everything. So, and I'm just curious because you seem like a very early adapter to that in the sense that you brought on your team a content creator. So tell me a little bit about that. Like what was the original thought behind that, and what made you bring that person on from your own perspective?
Such a good question. It was an accident. I found myself, early on when video content on social media, on Instagram in particular, started to really trend. I was doing a lot of put my phone on tripod and, get clips of an engagement session.
Sure.
And then I was making these videos of like BTS of the engagement session with the photos, or family session, or whatever kind of session I was doing. And I was constantly out of frame. But it was performing well. That content was performing well, and people were liking it. People were really
they love
absorbing, watching me work and what I created.
They love it.
And so I was like, I gotta pay somebody to come and hold my phone, because this is getting ridiculous, and I'm not getting, my camera's running for 5 minutes, and I have to go back and see when I'm in the frame and cut it, and it was very annoying. So I had put out some feelers on social media to see if I could hire a college kid or somebody to just come and hold my phone.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
It felt so silly at the time, but I had a second photographer on my team whose wife had just left her job and had gone to Chapman University, got a degree in something creative. Honestly, I can't remember what her degree is in, but I know that she went to an art school and really loved this stuff. And he's like, she'd probably want to do it. And I was like, all right. So I brought her out and I was like, it's just going to be like an hour shoot, but I want you to just come and get some content and dump it for me. She came out, and not only did she get great content, but she put together the most beautiful reel. And I was like, okay, I need you on every single shoot.
Yeah, it's game over.
And she was so good. She got my vision. She is so talented at what she does. And actually, I'll be completely honest, it was her idea to start offering it to our couples.
Okay.
And I was a little resistant at first because I was like, oh, that's going to step on the toes of videographers. But
it's so different.
But there's a need. There was a need, and I have an amazingly talented person on my team who does it. And so I went with it. I took the lead from her, and she's still with us, and she also manages our social media account. So I brought her on as my BTS film person and social media manager, and now she is our content creator. So she is creating the content, she's making the content, she's creating the content, and she's managing the feed. And I'm super, super fortunate to have her because she is very talented. And I will say that I very quickly realized that, it's completely different. It is not a replacement for professional videography.
No, definitely not.
I am seeing some people who are hiring content creators and not hiring videographers. But I will say with 100% certainty, those people were not going to hire videographers anyway. They were not doing this in lieu of. They were never going to do that. They were never going to hire a videographer. I think everybody should have professional video. There's no replacement for it, but content creation is an excellent avenue for social media and to have some of those memories as clips so that your friends don't have to do it.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
But
that's
it
the
is not a
thing.
replacement for videography,
No,
and I think everybody
it's not.
understands that now. But
Yeah.
at first, I was worried about those blurred lines and worried about stepping on the toes of my friends. We don't offer video. I think that everybody
No, you don't. Yeah, I know
should
that. Yeah.
stick to what they're really good at, and I just don't know video. It's not in my wheelhouse. So I partner with videographers that I love to work with,
Yeah.
and we come up with combo deals and incentives to refer each other. Um, but content creation is something that I felt was easy to put under our umbrella because we were doing it before we had a content creator with a tripod.
Yeah.
Now we're just doing it that much better because we
Right.
have an amazingly talented content creator that is coming on our shoots and doing
Right.
stuff for us.
Right. Which she's doing my 10-year vow renewal as
Yes,
well.
she
Yes.
is. She is, and we hire her out to
Yeah.
couples, so you can, we don't have her just come to every wedding.
Yeah.
Couples can add on content creation.
Right.
I do have her go to some of our engagement sessions, some of my family sessions, all of our brand sessions, so that we have content for, like, I pay her to do my content, but you
Right.
can also hire her from our team to do content creation.
Yeah. No, that's really interesting how that came about because you kind of had her on when all this stuff, like when this started becoming a thing, you kind of already had her, and then you started. And I remember when you flipped it over and you like started offering the service, I was like, oh, that's smart. Like that's interesting because it doesn't replace video, but again, a lot of this stuff now with weddings is so social media fueled, and so some people all they care about is the reels.
Right.
All they care about is
Right.
TikTok, Instagram, and the reels. They don't have a need. And like you said, they never were going to get formal videography.
Right.
It was never.
They were never about that.
Yeah. But then there are those people that I think that cannot afford videography, and not that it's a replacement, but it is the next best thing.
Yeah.
Because so many people are on such tight budgets that they can't afford, $2,000 dollars or $3,000, and we know it goes up from there depending on what you want.
Right.
To get back a professional 1 to max like 2-minute highlight reel, because that's what people are getting for that amount of money. And then of course you can pay for extra editing and different cuts, but it gets you more expensive from there. So, I think content creator for sure is like, I think it's great as somebody who creates a lot of content and edits my own reels, POV point of view, like reels and stuff from my own events. I mean, I could show you on my phone the DMs that I get back. Like, this is beautiful. You're making us cry. We're crying, because I also turn it around much quicker than video.
Right.
But
I'm not like a next day drop.
But I'm not even charging. Yeah. I'm not even charging.
Right.
I think it's important for people to understand that, first of all, when I create those reels, if it's over 3 minutes, the algorithm doesn't show it to non-followers. I'm zero benefit there. Zero benefit. And I honestly, I make it, the primary reasons why I make it is I make it for my clients first so that they can watch back. And then it's a little bit of for me. Like it's the weirdest thing. I can feel it. When I'm watching back the videos of people enjoying themselves, I have a smile on my face.
Yeah.
I'm going through these clips like, oh yeah, like, and I'm smiling.
My face hurts
like,
when I edit.
Yeah, and like the endorphins or whatever the chemical process that happens for me watching back my work and just seeing how happy people are and like having a good time. It's like it makes me feel good that I feel good. Like, oh man, like watching it back is way different than being there, because I can see like how people were having such a good time. You can you have more time to see their faces and reactions, and like, I don't know. It's just, it's really interesting. And I think it's just going to become a bigger, but I agree with you. It doesn't replace professional videography. I think people are getting that a little bit confused. It's just not the same thing.
Right. And I've shot several weddings where they've got all three of us.
Yeah.
They've got photo, they've got video, and they've got content. And if you've got the budget for that, by all means, get all the content in every avenue that you can between photography, video, professional video, and cell phone footage, because again, these are your memories.
Yeah, right.
These are your memories. And if you're going to invest really big, or, figure out what is most important to you. And if that is what's most important to you, I hate to say this because I don't want to knock any vendors, but cut down on your floral budget.
Yeah.
Or cut down on, something
or pick
else.
a lower costing venue. Like,
cut the things that are less important to you so
Yeah.
that you can invest in the
Yeah.
things that matter the most. And of course, I'm biased. I'm a photographer. I think that photography is the most important, but I recently captured a wedding where they had the videographer and the content creator there longer than they had me.
Yeah.
We were on for like 6 or 7 hours. They were on for 10. And I was like, wow, you don't see that every
Yeah.
day.
No, you don't.
You
No,
don't see that every day.
But that's because that's what was important to
that was
them.
what was
The
important to
video
them.
was more important to them. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, that's totally true. No, yeah, it's not a replacement, but I have all three. I'll have all three. So
Awesome.
I'll have photo, video, and content creator from you. So it's like, yeah, I think it's great. I knew immediately. I also knew when I first planned it, there were there were actually two things that I knew because, and that's because I'm biased because I create all this POV content and I know how much people love it.
Yeah.
When I send them a video or a clip, they're like, oh my God. It's like, so I knew I would love it when I get to see that if someone else is taking the clip, I'm not going to be able to do it. So, and I'm going to want to, I'm going to be like, oh,
and
like,
it also satisfies that instant gratification like world that we're in because content gets dropped so quickly.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about it. So that's next question. What is the turnaround time on that? And like how many clips are people getting like from, like what is the turnaround time and how much content, like how many clips can people expect?
Ooh, a number I couldn't give you.
Okay.
She could give you a number, but I would say it's similar to photography though. I don't put a specific number on how many images people get. I get asked all the time and I'll be like, well, you can expect, X amount to X amount with one photographer per hour. But that range is, 25 to 50 images.
Yeah, varies.
Gap.
Right.
If you have two photographers, then you can expect 25% more. But because we don't limit and we don't put a number on it, it's hard to give a number, and every event is different. So it depends on how many hours, but her turnaround time is typically, I think 24 to 48 hours.
Wow.
It's very fast.
You're just getting everything.
Well, she does edit though. She cuts it down and she goes through and she looks at things that aren't worth giving to you. And so there is an editing process. It's obviously a quicker editing process than would be photography or full videography, but she puts in some hours making sure that she gets it done quickly and she turns it around. So it's not just a straight. It is a raw. We consider it a raw.
It's
a raw
dump,
because
the video's
but she does go in and check the clips and make sure that she's not giving you garbage clips.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I would have thought it's just literally like a dump, like a photo dump, like an upload dump. But she goes through and curates it a little bit before it's turned over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's like me when I take all these videos. There's stuff where I'm like, well, that's my foot. And,
Oops,
let's cut that out.
Forgot to hit stop on that one, so it went on for 2 minutes.
I set the phone down and it's just black screen for like 2 minutes. No, that's really good. And then here's another question is I don't have an answer. This is something I absolutely don't know. Like what do you think is a good amount of time to have the content creator there? Like when, just in your opinion, like when should they start and like when should they finish? Do you have recommendations on that? Because literally I don't so just like you were talking about how they were there for so long, it seems to me like when I've seen a content creator, I haven't seen anything consistent with when they're there.
Yeah.
Sometimes they show up later. Sometimes they're at ceremony and they leave after ceremony. So it's like, okay, so was that just like, or after the first dance or something like that. Like, and then at dinner they leave. Sometimes they're there for the whole time. Like I haven't seen anything consistent when we do have content creators. I haven't seen anything consistent as far as when they show. And to be honest, I don't know if they're showing up for getting ready or first look.
Right.
Like, do you have recommendations on that? Because I don't know. I literally have no clue.
I think that this is an avenue that, in my opinion, and again, Trista might disagree, but in my opinion, I think this is something that is still being mapped out as a whole, because it comes down to what's important to the couple, what's important for them to have captured. We have, I believe, a 4, 6, and 8 hour package for content. And the essentially, with videography, you want to match the photographer hours typically.
Yeah.
With content, I think you can go either way. in my opinion. But I think that what we're seeing is people are typically doing the smaller package or the bigger package. They're doing, I would say first look if they're doing first look, some prep, first look, ceremony, first dance, and then they're kind of good
And
to
that's
go.
it.
Or they're doing the full day so that they can kind of get everything.
Okay.
But I don't know. I don't know that there's I don't know that there's a standard for
So
that
we're not
yet.
there yet.
Yeah, I don't think so.
We're not there yet. Yeah, that's what I've been confused at because I don't know. I can't tell when the content creator got there when they're there for ceremony. Like I just don't see them.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they were like with the bride or the groom getting ready
Yeah.
or
From a business owner's perspective, when I bring her, I just want her for the big elements. Couple of getting ready if I can.
Mhm.
But to me, that's that for my content as a photographer. That's not as important to me as first look, some clips from ceremony, first dance, and then I
Right.
cut her.
Yeah.
So I only have her there for a couple of hours to do business content if I'm sending her for us.
Yeah.
But when a client, client's needs are very different than my needs.
Yeah.
So, and because I don't actually do the content myself, it's a little bit harder for me to speak on that. In terms of what clients are wanting, it's because I would say that right now, yeah, we're booking a handful of people that want to add content, but it's not, it's we're not booking in volume enough for there to be a
Standard.
trend.
Yeah,
A
a
trend
standard or
that we're
trend or
seeing.
recommendations. Yeah, no, that's interesting. I think that's I mean, I'm sure it will come, but yeah, because I see more and more on social media people in Facebook groups
Mhm.
looking for content
Yeah.
creators. Like it's becoming and on threads too. On threads
Yeah.
it's really big, people looking for content creators. And so, it's weird because I saw the content creation thing go from like start out and there was a bunch of content creators and then there was a lot of backlash and then I think a lot of people were like, we don't get it, like we're not sure what this is. And then I saw a big dive. And then and I think as uh, people professionalized it,
Mhm.
it you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we went down in the number and then people figured out a way to make it more professional where like it just seemed kind of like to level out where like, okay, I'm a content creator and this is what I do and these
Right.
are my responsibilities. So it became more defined.
Yes.
And then now it's ramping back up because
Absolutely.
now we have some definitions of what it is, what to expect. Like, they, like you said, you can just get all the content or you can also pay for some edits and,
Yep.
like, and stuff like that. So I definitely think it's still early and it's evolving, but I, at first I thought it was going to die out for a moment. Like I was like, oh, people like, this is just like a trend. But
Right.
now because content creators and the industry has been able to professionalize it and make it more standard,
Mhm.
set standards for it and what you should expect and camera quality or at least of the phone or whatever it is they're using. I feel like we're getting there to where
Yeah.
I don't think it's going away.
I don't think so either. I think that content creation is making um video footage a lot more accessible for a lot more people.
Hmm.
It is absolutely not the same quality, but I have a content creator on my team that I pay regularly. I've never had a videographer on my team that I pay regularly to do behind the scenes for me, to get that content
Well,
for
it'd be way
me.
more
It
expensive.
would be so much more expensive. And so I think that it's really making that video aspect of everybody's business and now their personal lives as well, a lot more accessible to a lot more
Yeah.
people.
No, yeah, all of that. Yeah, I agree 100%. Um, and then the last question I would have is when couples when couples are hiring for content creation, um, are they coming with a bunch of ideas like, oh, we want to do this, and we saw this reel, like okay, like how they like they're all in their the bridesmaids and the bride are all in their pre-ceremony clothes and they jump over and then
Right.
and then it's
Yes.
like then they're like
I think it's just like photography in that way.
yeah.
Because we get that with photography, or okay, occasionally we get that with photography where we're like, oh, we really love these photos, and some of the silly trends that we see, or some of the viral videos that we see, it's the same thing. Like some, yes, come with it, and some don't. Some just are like, I just want beautiful content, and I trust you to do what you're good at.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what we want to hear as creatives,
Yeah,
right? Is
right, yeah.
that please don't come with a list of please don't come with 75 pages worth of photos that you want me to
yeah,
get.
yeah,
Like, yes, I'm going to photograph your wings. I promise I'm going to do that. That's a
yeah.
part. It's in my brain. I know I'm going
It's already
to, yes, I'm
happening.
going to photograph your dress. Yes, I'm going to
Yeah.
do things. No, I don't want to make a photo where the bride looks like she's stomping on all the groomsmen. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking
yeah,
about. You've seen those dresses, or the dinosaur chasing everybody. Like
yeah,
the things that go viral. I mean, that's always going to be a thing. So
yeah,
yeah, there's people that certainly come with those requests.
yeah,
Our content creator always gets on a call and talks about what their vision is, just like we do with photography, because again, we do want to tailor to you and what you're most, especially if you're not doing a full 8-hour collection with us, we want to know like what are the most important aspects. And that's how we map out your timeline.
yeah.
And then she can discuss potential reels and things like that.
Nice. Okay. No, that's good. I think that was the last question I had about content creators and creation. Before I just jump into the end of this, do you have any final thoughts, anything you want to share, anything that's come about in this conversation? Or
I think if I could just maybe give a little bit of advice to couples that are planning their weddings, I would say that just want to reiterate what we talked about earlier when it comes to budget.
yeah,
Everybody's on some level of a
of
budget.
course.
And what I find value in and what you find value in are going to be different things.
Mm-hmm.
I would just encourage couples to not necessarily ignore the trends, but pay more attention to your heart and what you really want 10 years from now. Think about what you want 10 years from now to look back on, and make your budget decisions based on that,
Yeah,
not based on what's happening on social
right
media
now.
right now, because
Yeah,
that's going to change next
it's
year.
going to change.
It's going to change next year. It's going to change the year after. So think about the long-term goal when you're planning your wedding and the things that are going to last forever, and design your budget around the people that are the most important to you to be following you around on your wedding day and the experience that you want to have.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense. Like, not so focused on the now and this and that, but like, 10 years from now, and you look, when you're going to look back on it, like, are you getting what you want,
Yeah.
versus focusing on things that won't really matter
Right.
in 10 years, like, that's very insightful. Okay. So before we totally wrap up, first, I want to thank you for coming on the show and spending time.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a lot of fun. I would love for you to just share where people can find you, any social media handles, and then anything else you want to mention that's maybe coming up or that people might be interested in.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can find us at shyheartstudios.com.
Okay.
You can find us on Instagram at Shyheart Studios or at Brianna Shrader.
Okay.
I have 2 different handles that kind of cover everything that we do
Okay.
at Shyheart Studios. The Shyheart account is a lot more wedding focused and wedding and family focused. Brianna Shrader is a little bit more brand focused, education for photographers, and a little bit more of my personal life on there.
Okay.
So you can find us under either one, and yeah.
Okay.
See you out there.
Awesome. We're going to put all that, guys. We're going to put all that in the description. If you're watching on YouTube and Spotify, you'll be able to see that information in the description. So make sure you go follow Shyheart Studios if you want to see more content, more information, and the different things going on over there. And we want to thank you guys for watching. We hope if you enjoyed this, you watch, you subscribe, you comment, and you come back and also look at some of the past content and
share it.
And share it and everything. So thank you guys for watching, and we're looking forward to the next episode, and we'll see you guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.